Good morning, everybody. For the past few videos, you may have been noticing that my audio hasn't been as good as usual, and that's because I had an error with my mic, and I filmed the last 3 videos in quick succession without editing them, and unfortunately it's going to be the same in this video. I've tried my best to manipulate the audio in editing after, but a lot of it's filmed on the GoPro, so you won't be able to notice it, but I do. I just thought I'd let you know this isn't a usual thing, and I fixed it since this video, but there's too much important information in it to not upload, and I don't think it's personally that bad, so I apologise to the audio. It will be sorted out after this video, and I have tried my best to make it somewhat as best as I can in editing. So thanks for watching, even though you've not watched it yet, but just let me know, and from here it's going to be better. Alright, cheers.
So good morning, everybody. Here is a voiceover, just me trying to voice over myself, just pretending that I love this Clio. Again, I'm just taking the piss, saying I love this Clio whilst kicking, just suggesting that I do not love the Clio because it's been an absolute nightmare. I'm voiceovering because the audio was so bad on this, I had to do this. So here are the 2 gearboxes. There's the one that I've took off. I actually managed to buy this one for about 140, 150 quid. I hope it was a 172 gearbox. I've been told it was a 172. The 182s and 172s have different speedos. So if you put a 182 one and a 172, you're not going to be able to know what speed you're going. So there's the gearbox. There's a couple things that are different about this one and that one. So I just need to basically match them up really. But let's get this gearbox in. So first of all, we're just going to swap over the stuff from this gearbox to this gearbox, which this gearbox didn't come with. And the first thing, it didn't come with like the clutch fork and the release bearing. So we're going to change that over. Okay, so here's the input shaft on the old one, and here's the input shaft on this one. So this is a little bit dirtier in here, so I'm just going to get some penetrating oil and clean it all off. But see, there's a little bit of rust on there. I'm just going to clean that off with some penetrating oil. Now this is a clutch fork. It's literally simple. So that's the release bearing. Give that a bit of a clean. It's fine. Push that on here, and all this does, because this is just a cable clutch, it just pushes through there and then goes onto the input shaft. So when you pull the clutch, it pushes the clutch onto there and lets it go. Alright, and push it back. Okay, so yeah, we just need to clean that so it's a little bit nicer and smoother. We shall do that now. There we go, much better already. Right, so I spent a few minutes just cleaning that gearbox, cleaning the splines, and so getting the shit out the middle of it. We're good to start putting it back in the car. I'm just going to check over once more, because like this bracket here isn't on that, so I must have removed that in the car. There's the clutch down here. I've just got the gearbox here trying to marry it up. I've noticed there's a few things different on this one than the one that I took off. So this guy left a big gearbox mount on it, and he left like the clutch fork on, so it kind of shows me what I didn't have to remove. I removed the mount and I removed the clutch fork, so I didn't necessarily need to do that. So I'm going to just remove things off the car and keep everything on the gearbox, which he kept on. Just going to try, I've just wedged it in a bit. You might not be able to see much because of the angle, alright guys, but I'm going to try my best basically. I'm just trying to lift it on and see what's getting in the way, because it's quite heavy. Ideally, I should put a jack under here and lift it up, but the jack isn't in the office. I don't think it's in the van either, so I don't know where it is, so that's annoying. But I'm just going to try it without. I think it might be better me coming underneath the middle and just pushing it up, but we'll see. There's a bolt there which I've not took off as well, so I need to remember to put that bolt back on. I've now got to lift this gearbox up by myself, line it up. Oh, this is the most frustrating thing. It's just like one thing, like, where's the jack? It's gone. Great. No worries, everyone. So at this point, I was trying to do it without the jacks. I couldn't find it, and this is the point where I'm at a breaking point. I'm like, there is no way I'm gonna get this gearbox in without a jack. So at this point, I got a text off John. He was like, yeah, it's at my house. I was absolutely buzzing. So do not try this without a jack. Would not recommend. 100% do not try it without a jack. Right, round 2. I've got the jack. So let's put the jack underneath here, drop the gearbox onto it, and lift it up, because that saves a break in my back. Because it's a jack back. It rhymes. Anyway, so I was really starting to struggle here because the jack wasn't lifting it up straight, it was lifting it up at an angle. It's not like a real drive car where you've only got to put the input shaft. I've actually got to put the drive shaft on the back as well, so there's obviously 2 drive shafts which go into the same gearbox. I have 2 locating pins on the left and the right, so you're trying to join up 3 things at a time, and it was getting really difficult. It's on the 2 locating pins anyway. It's not fully on yet, I need to do a bit more pushing, but it's on the 2 locating pins anyway. the bastard thing now is the starter motor right at the top. So the starter motor's just, I don't think it's lining up, so I'm gonna have to get on top of the car. I think it's ready to go in, it just needs a big push. Or if anything, just put some bolts in and just drill it in and it'll just tighten itself. But I think it's on the locating tabs. I'm gonna double check that by removing the jack. Just make sure it sits up. I'm gonna give it a big push on, make sure nothing's catching between, you know, the engine and the box. But yeah, the starter motor is your bastard position on these. So I'm going to try and get the starter motor lined up from the top of the car. I've got to lie on top of the engine to try and get it all in. The starter motor is right down the back up here, so I've literally got to get on top of the engine. And I just don't know how it lines up because it doesn't feel like it's gone in yet, and it doesn't feel like those little tabs. Oh, I don't know. Honestly guys, this is tough work. I have no idea how I'm going to get this starter motor in. Literally no idea. Oh, fuck. And now I'm going to try and get the box fully on and maybe it will go on there. Okay, so the box is on because the jack is off. So it's on there and it's pretty secure. I don't know how to get the starter motor on. Still not figured out how to get the starter motor on just yet. But I'm going to tighten up all the bolts on the gearbox. And then try to figure out how to get the starter, because there has to be a way of taking the starter motor off without removing the gearbox. I don't think Renault were that stupid, so I think I can do that afterwards, but I just need to take this off. This mount is knackered, so I'm going to use my old mount which I took off, so let's get this off. But yeah, I'm just scared because that release bearing was like easily popping off, so I just hope that it's actually stayed on the fork and it's not just sat in the bottom of the box somewhere and I got started all up and the fucking don't engage gear. But yeah, let's just get all the gearbox bolts in and see if we can get that starter on, and then from there I'm gonna get the clutch on and just see if it's actually working and stuff, you know. That's a good idea. Do like to be beside the sea. Ow. Right, this bad boy comes off. This bad boy come off as well. We're using the old mount because my mount's a little bit different as well. So I'm going to use my mount that came off the subframe. Can I get a yeet? Yeah. I get on top of the car. Okay, so if we see down here, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this guy, you guys. No, I'm not going to be able to. Let me see. Where's my finger? No, but anyway, my finger is here, guys. There is a locating pin, and on the gearbox here, where my finger is now, there is another locating pin. And I'm like, how the hell do they go inside each other? They're different sizes. But if you come on the other gearbox, shit. Now it's here. There is no locating pin. So it means that when this gearbox is taken out, the locating pin stayed on the starter motor, whereas when he took the new gearbox out, the locating pin stuck on the gearbox. So I need to get, long story short, don't know how I'm going to do it now because it's so deep in there, but I need to get one of the locator pins off because the two locator pins and they're not sitting in each other because they're the same. So I need to get a pair of pliers and try and get a locator pin off either one of them. So remember these little things I bought in the last video from Tool Station? They're coming in, look how small this guy is. So we're stuck again. I can't get them out from either side. I've tried everything. I've tried pulling them out, I've tried squeezing them with grips. I've tried putting an extension through this side and knocking it out through this side, just getting a lip. There's not a big enough lip in there. I've literally tried everything. I've tried pushing the side back in. I've literally tried everything. I don't know what to do. You see it just there, guys. The camera's trying to focus, but it's like saying nope. See it there? So there's two. Oh, fuck off, Canon, mate. That. Oh, well, fuck off. Yes. Yes. I fucking got it. This little shitty thing, mate. So that. How I got it eventually. Just got an extension like this and I just went up, down, left, right, and just tried to yank it out. So there it is. All the gearbox bolts are on. The starter motor is on. I pray it's on in the right position and it actually starts and works as a starter motor. We just going to change over the bracket here and put the rest of the main little shitty bolts on. So there's the ground here, there's a some sort of plug there, goes to the gearbox. I don't know what it is, maybe it's like a neutral reverse sensor switch, I don't know, I don't give a shit. There's another ground here which goes onto that. Big jokes, I think that's great. Right, so here's where we are. We've just got the gearbox lifted up a little bit, just so I can run everything over and everything in the right position. So we've got the clutch going round. The clutch fork, let's change the clutch fork. The clutch fork is in and it's wrapped around here. Now I've just confirmed that we do have clutch. Very heavy like a Clio, but we do have clutch, which is good news. So I think now what we're going to do is, I think I'm just going to keep this jacked up and we can start putting the subframe, so that's the gearbox and everything in. So there's a couple more. So this needs to come over here, but I think the engine needs to be brought forward a little bit. So I think now we're going to put these gearbox bolts into the top of the gearbox, and that's going to line it up where it kind of needs to be, and then we can start bringing the subframe up as well. But for now we can actually start seeing how it's gone back together. So you can see the clutch is here. We need a bolt here for this power steering line, but I'm going to wait till the power steering's all linked up. It's literally just one thing after another, so I can't get these 3 gearbox bolts to line up, and it doesn't help that there's just so much shit in the way. I just cannot get them to line up. One goes in and the other 3 are a mile off, or the 2 are a mile off, or 2 goes in and one's a fucking mile off. It is really, really frustrating. I've had to get a bar in this side just to kind of like push the engine over a little bit, because it's just coming too far forward. So where the gearbox isn't flat, you can't jack it up flat, it's jack it up a side and then it comes up wonky, and it's just a fucking piece of shit in it, let's be honest. But very, very, very frustrating, but I'm trying to just battle through it, but it's not looking good, lads. It's just so annoying. Okay, so the 3 top mounts are in. I had to put this front one in first. I had to wedge the engine over this way, so the first one bolted up, tighten that bolt all the way, drop the engine, then it kind of sits where it needs to be on that bolt. Then this one lines up almost, so you've got to go on the back of the gearbox, jack the gearbox up a tiny bit, just that one goes in, and then when them 2 are in, that one just went in on its own, it just tightened on its own. So now the gearbox is fully secured in, well, next to the engine, which is good. So all we really need to do now is, first of all, I had to be saying this before I pass out. Right, Pete, it's good progress, good progress. Gearbox in, it's all bolted up to the engine. All we need to do now is just put the subframe back up in the power steering rack and just put the rest of the suspension together. From there, we top up the gearbox oil, but I can't do more today because I've got a meeting in 40 minutes. It takes me half an hour to get there, and I already look like this, so we've got to go quick. So you'll see me soon. Peace out.